Hello everyone, my name is Jamie Macdonald and I'm head of the Sport and Exercise Science programs here at Bangor University. And I'd like to take today to use a little bit of time to tell you a little bit about why you might want to study sport and exercise science as a subject and why you might want to study it here in Bangor. Now, we are one of the oldest sport and exercise science schools within the UK. We've been delivering programs for over 40 years. And we currently have around 400 students, which makes us one of the smallest sports science departments in the UK, but we like to think that we are small but very high performing. So our applicants have told us that there are 4 themes that they want to focus on when they are making an informed choice about where they're going to study their subject and at which university. So this slide here just highlights what those 4 themes actually are. And I'm going to focus today on the learning and employability themes. You might want to find out about the sport and lifestyle themes on other aspects of our virtual open days, or by going to one of our academic drop-in booths and asking questions. You'll also be able to ask me questions directly after this presentation. So focusing on learning and employability, the first thing we need to really talk about is what sports science actually is as a subject and why you might want to study it. Now, these 6 pictures here, I've selected them on purpose because I want to show you the diversity of sport and exercise science as a subject area and what it will actually mean to you in terms of your career in the future. Now, the bottom picture in the middle there is perhaps what we more traditionally think of as being sports science. It's working with elite athletes. This is one of the most successful British Winter Olympians that we have produced, and this athlete was actually supported by our school. And next to her you can see a picture of someone receiving some physiotherapy, and again this is another very traditional subject area that people often assume sport and exercise science encompasses, and that's true. Many of our graduates do go on to study physiotherapy. In fact, we have our own physiotherapy course here at master's level, which many of our students do apply for. But the other pictures you can see here show some of the diverse areas that people go into in terms of sport and exercise science. On the top row, the pictures on either side show 2 subject areas. One is exercise as medicine. If exercise was a pill, it would be one of the most prescribed pills and drugs by the medical community. And we do a lot of work supporting patients who are living with chronic disease and understanding how exercise can help with their rehabilitation and improving their quality of life. And on the opposite side, you can see a group of people completing a park run. This is a very successful initiative to improve physical activity levels of the general population, and we're very interested in understanding how to improve health and well-being of our general population as well. But the 2 remaining pictures show some of the perhaps more unusual areas that we work in as sport and exercise scientists. So the reason we have a picture of an RAF fighter pilot from Anglesey is that the jet school is just down the road from us, and we're very excited to be working with pilots to better understand how we can manipulate their training environment from a psychological perspective to enhance their performance. So we use some of the principles that we've developed in elite sporting environments, and we're applying that into their training program. And on the bottom you can see a picture of a firefighter struggling to control his heat after active occupational duty. And here again we're very interested in trying to understand how we can improve performance and health of different occupations from a physiological perspective. So sport and exercise science is a very diverse subject, and ultimately it leads to some very interesting careers. Interestingly, if you spend £1 on studying for a sport and exercise science degree over your career, you'll earn £5.50 back. So it gives you an idea about where your money might actually go and what it might actually be worth if you decided to study this as a subject, and what that might mean for your future career. So how do you actually make a choice about which of the many sports science departments in the UK you should actually study at? And one option is to look at your league tables. And we would just encourage you to exercise some caution when you actually do that. What I've done here is I've shown some stats that I've selected from various league tables, And I've compared us to one of the most reputable and well-known sports science departments in the UK, that is Loughborough University. And you can see with some careful selection, I can show that we are easily on par, if not better, than Loughborough's sports science department. So to give you an idea about how other departments can actually do the same game playing, then currently there are apparently 18 sports science departments in the UK who are in the top 10 in terms of the league table. So you can see that clearly there is some game playing going on in the sector. Nevertheless, league tables do provide a helpful comparison. And if you'd actually like to get to the raw data that's used in league tables, then we recommend you go have a look at government-produced data. The Discover Uni website is a great way to actually compare some of the statistics between different courses. But here on these 4 statistics, you can see that our graduate employment is very good compared to Loughborough. Our staff are very contactable, so they're accessible to our students. Our research is ranked very highly, and also we add value to the students who come through the door with a certain pre-qualification, and then we're exiting with a very good degree. So to help you move beyond the league tables, you really need to understand what it is that sports science departments do as part of their core business. And there's 3 areas. We focus on teaching, research, and impact. And you need to be able to evaluate these 3 areas to be able to make that informed choice. And one way to do that is to look at independent assessments of the quality of, for example, a core area like teaching. And the government actually provides these independent assessments for us through something called the Teaching Excellence Framework. And Bangor University has a gold award in this framework, and that means that institutions which have gold awards have made a commitment to actually improving the quality of the teaching that's actually delivered to their students. So that's an important award or ticket to look out for when you're choosing an institution. The second thing is that reputation is everything when it comes to academic sports science departments. And we all complete research and impact, but the way that that reputation is assessed, again, is done independently by the government. Every few years, they complete something called the Research Excellence Framework. The last one was completed in 2014. And this allows an independent assessment of the quality of the research and how impactful that research is. And Bangor University, and particularly our sports science department, does very well in those assessments. And is currently ranked 7th or 5th actually in the UK. So you get an idea of an independent assessment of the quality of our teaching and research. But as well as those independent assessments, I think it's important to be honest with you and let you know our opinion. Now, these institutions, which I've labelled at the top of this slide, if you're really serious about studying sport and exercise science in the UK, then really you want to be studying at one of these institutions. These are the 5 Premier League institutions, and we know that their research quality is high, their impact is high, and their teaching quality is high. Yeah, we hope that you would have these institutions on your list of options when you're studying, choosing to study sports science. So how do you decide between those 5 institutions, because they've all got very good reputations? Well, probably what you want to be able to do is decide whether the institution's philosophy and ways of working matches your own philosophies, and whether the atmosphere of that institution is going to be something where you will feel comfortable and happy. And the best way to show that to you on a virtual open day before you actually come and visit us, hopefully in the future, is through telling you about our mission statement. Now, every institution has a mission statement, but we've really spent a lot of time working with our students and our staff to make sure that this is a genuine mission that we are actually committed to achieving. And I want to focus just on the yellow text to start off with in the mission statement. You'll notice that we aim to provide an outstanding teaching and learning experience, and that teaching and learning experience is first and foremost in that sentence. And that's by design, because we put our students first and foremost in the activities that we do. But because reputation is so important for our students and to enhance their employability, then it is important that we are world leaders in scientific research and that our research has impact. You'll see why that's also featuring very importantly and in our actual mission statement there. The other bit I wanted to focus on is the text that's in blue here, because this will give you a very good understanding about our philosophy and how we actually work here in Bangor. And I genuinely believe that we do offer a transformational experience to our students, regardless of the background that they have come from. We have some students who have come into us through an unusual background. They may not have traditional A-levels. We also have students who've come from a private education who have very high performing A-levels. And in both those situations, we can offer a transformational experience, and our students tell us that we actually do that. Now, we have a reputation, and because of our location between Snowdonia and the sea, of being interested in adventurous outdoor activities. And what we try to do is utilize that philosophy across all of our programs and encourage our students to actually be adventurous and to understand about risk and to take calculated risks with their own careers and their own personal development to maximize their development and their chances of employability when they graduate from us. We are a very supportive school. To give you an example of some of the initiatives we've actually come up with, we were the first school in the UK to come up with a peer guiding system whereby students support other students and as they actually go through their studies. And we are unique in that you can actually get access to our personal tutors to have one-to-one meetings to help you with your studies. And we also offer a very inclusive environment, so regardless of your sexual orientation, your religious beliefs, where you've come from and the language that you speak, we will try to make sure that you feel welcome in here in Bangor and that the program that we teach you is relevant to you. To give you some examples of some of the things that we do there, we offer our modules bilingually in both English and Welsh. We have advertising material in Chinese because we do recruit a lot of Chinese students. We also have, for example, a prayer room on our ground floor of our building to allow some of our students to access Friday prayers without leaving the department. So what specifically does sport and exercise science at Bangor look like? Well, all of the staff and my colleagues are working within two institutes. One is the Institute for Psychology of Elite Performance, and the other is the Institute of Applied Human Physiology. Now, IPEP, their goal is to enhance psychological performance and well-being. You can see here the top picture is McIlroy having had a collapse at the Golfing Masters, and this group would try to understand why those type of psychological problems occur and how they might actually be able to prevent them and enhance performance. And on the other picture, you can see Mo Farah collapsing from heat exhaustion after competing in the New York Marathon. And our IAHP group try to understand how to enhance physical performance and health in such extreme environments like this or in clinical settings. So what is sport and exercise science at Bangor in terms of the impact that we actually have on the real world? Well, I'd just like to show you two videos which will highlight that. The first one's from the England Cricket Board, which was aired on Sky TV.
One of the most consistent threads that has run throughout this series of mind games has been the debate about whether you just have mental strength or whether it can be learnt.
Well, as far as the ECB are concerned, they definitely tend towards the latter, that mental strength is a learnt experience. And to that end, they've commissioned a special research project from Bangor University to try and look into and assess what actually happens when a player is performing under pressure.
What I'm going to ask you to do is respond to the words that appear on the screen. And all you have to do is hit the key corresponding to the colour that the word is written in. I'll count you in and say 3, 2, 1, go. We're measuring an individual's heart rate and also their heart rate variability whilst doing a very simple computer-based decision-making test. Ben has to respond to words that appear on the screen and as accurately and as quickly as possible hit a certain response. The task itself is incredibly simple and the science behind it is somewhat complex.
We've started it already on the Lions programme and we've got a project in place with the counties. So we'll go in and with each individual They'll complete a number of questionnaires, which will tell us a huge amount of information about their personality and some of the mental skills that they have. They do an advanced psychophysiological test, and based on that, we will then try and, for each individual, predict, before it happens, how that player will handle scrutiny, expectation, and the important moments of important matches.
What we're trying to do is obviously find the difference between people that go on and have really successful England careers and those that don't. And what is the difference? Is there personality? Is there temperament? Is it to do with the number of hours that you've played or the number of games you've played? And the more we can refine that, then the more it helps us with our talent ID, but also what support we need to put in place for the players that are on our programmes.
The key bit of this study is that we have a comprehensive and multidisciplinary view on performance under pressure. It incorporates aspects of psychophysiology, neuroscience, sports psychology, personality psychology and cognitive psychology in a comprehensive multidisciplinary view that actually is a world first.
This seems to me pretty sort of cutting edge. Do any other sports do anything like this?
No, and this was one of the reasons that, as the ECB, we decided to engage with Bangor. What tends to happen is researchers have an area of interest, so they'll look at one particular area of psychology. Practitioners tend to have an area themselves that they're quite good at, but what we're doing here is we're tapping into pretty much all areas of sports psychology that we've looked at, and we're doing it in the most sort of innovative, cutting-edge way currently out there.
So you can see that that's a very sport-specific example, and I said that sport and exercise science is now very diverse, so I'm just going to show you a quick video from the clinical setting. Now this is a set of resources that were actually generated for patients. These have now been implemented all over the world to try to enhance the physical and functional capacity of some of our patients who live with chronic kidney disease. So this was actually developed by some of our students and researchers. So you can see there are two very applied, impactful ways of actually implementing our research in two very different settings. And as I said, it's quite exciting that our students were actually able to be involved in the generation of those of that work and those impact resources. So one of the things that we know that applicants want to understand is how they'll actually study with us. And I'm going to show you another small video now because we actually have links with the medical school here at Bangor University, and I'm sure you'll be familiar with a picture like the one you can see on the screen now, and this is the traditional way of teaching heart anatomy, but because of our links with the medical school we can do that in a slightly different way here in Bangor.
Today we are looking at lamb's heart because we've been studying it in lectures, so it's a more hands-on experience.
Today we're working with the sports science students. Last week they had a lecture on the heart, and today they have a lamb heart which they're going to dissect. They have a sort of series of structures that they learnt about in theory last week, and today they're going to look at it in reality.
We're really lucky to have this connection with the medical sciences department, so we can pull the expertise of people like Vivian and give the students something more than they'd get from purely just a sort of sports science degree.
It gives you a better understanding of the anatomy because it's like you can actually see it.
I really like that we can just like figure it out ourselves and like cutting into it and see how an actual heart looks like.
That just shows you a little bit there about how we actually teach our students here in Bangor, and we try to be as applied as we can. Just catch up with my slides. So as well as studying at Bangor, you will probably be interested in understanding what's going to happen to you when you graduate and whether you will be able to get a job. So we try to focus on actually enhancing the employability of our graduates from the first day that they actually walk through the door at Bangor Uni. We do that by enhancing their subject knowledge and practical skills, as perhaps you would expect from a sports science degree. But because of the research that we actually do here, we also try to develop critical thinkers, and this allows you to go into any setting, be it in a sports science career or another career, and actually apply that critical thinking skills to help you to solve problems and to make decisions. And combined with some development of transferable skills and the opportunities to do work experience or international placements, then we believe that we really do enhance the employability of our graduates. So we package our employability activities currently using something called the Bangor Employability Award. So our students can log their curricular and extracurricular activities on an online portal, and at the end they can gain an award and have a method to actually show employees about the skills that they've actually developed whilst they've been studying with us. We also have connections with local and national employers, and we offer opportunities for placements via our Target Connect link system. So the employer and the student can access this system to see what opportunities are available and to manage their placement and the health and safety side of that, and to make sure that they're actually well prepared for going into the workplace. So 95% of our students are actually employed within 6 months to longer periods actually after graduating from our degree. And just to show you specifically about what our students did last year as they graduated, then we've actually surveyed them, and you can see some of the areas that they've gone into work here, for example in sports and fitness, teaching, and some diverse areas like sales, in business, etc. So as part of your academic career, then we utilize what we call a 3+1 model here. We have to be frank with you that now it is a very competitive workplace that you will be graduating into, and to enhance your competitiveness, typically students will complete both an undergraduate and a postgraduate degree. And you can see, although I don't expect you to see all the detail on this slide, but you can see that we've thought very carefully about what your roadmap or your pathway or your journey will be through your academic studies with us. So our undergraduate degrees can lead into postgraduate offers and then into particular sectors and example roles. So if I just take one, for example, you might study sport and exercise science with us. You might then go on to do a master's degree in physiotherapy, and that might get you a career in the clinical sciences working as a physiotherapist. So here's just a couple of examples of some of the placements that students have done with us recently. So I'll just let you read this quote from About George. And this placement was available because of our links with RGC, which is the local rugby supporting body for Wales, and particularly for regional rugby in North Wales. And here's just again another example of a recent placement, possible because of the links that we have with local businesses this time. So these two students, and Andrew and Abby, were able to actually get paid placements with snowboarding and water sports over the summer period. Okay, so one of the things that you might be interested in deciding is which of the many courses that we offer would be most suitable for you. So I've just highlighted our 5 premier courses or core courses. We do have some other courses as well, but these are the 5 ones that most of our students study. And you can see that we have a general sport and exercise science degree. So if you're interested in working with athletes or patients or the general public, enhancing performance or improving health and well-being, then this would be the degree for you. Now, if you have a particular interest in strength and conditioning, then we have a very exciting vocational degree which has a core of sports science, but also includes practical vocational content and offers you the opportunity to develop and obtain qualifications in strength and conditioning. Our third degree is specifically if you have a particular interest in sport and exercise psychology. So again, if you want to work with athletes or patients or the general public, but you'd like to focus on a psychological approach to enhancing performance or well-being, then this would be the degree for you. And this degree is actually accredited with the British Psychological Society, So it's the first step in you becoming an accredited sport and exercise psychologist in the UK. We also offer a physical education and coaching degree, and this is particularly interesting if you would like to work with children or with athletes in a coaching situation. And again, this is a very vocational degree. We deliver this degree with coaching experts, level 5 coaches, and also teaching experts. And this allows us to help you to generate and to develop in classroom and coaching environments to allow you for a career in this area. And then finally, we have our Adventure Sports Science degree. This degree utilises our position between Snowdonia and the sea and allows you to practice your interest in extreme sports, either in a coaching, an adventure tourism, or an outdoor therapy setting. So you could be working with children or adults, athletes or patients. And you can also see here the examples of the typical modules that you study as part of these degrees. Now, these are the actual entry requirements for our courses. And the take-home message from this slide, if you're struggling to take all of this in, is that if you're interested in studying with us, please do apply, because somehow we will try to accommodate all applicants in some way or form. But to give you a summary, our courses make offers on courses which are specific to your likely attainment. We do require level 3 qualifications and GCSE Maths and English at grade C. And we're very interested in applications from mature students and non-traditional backgrounds. Note that you can study part-time with us. And we do have some specific English language requirements, so please do have a look at the website to understand those. And if you feel that actually achieving those points may be problematic for you, then don't forget we do have a foundation degree, which allows you to enter one of our normal degrees, but by doing a foundation year, it will help to prepare you for study at a higher education level. Now, we're very lucky here to be able to offer content for our degree programs in both English and Welsh. You don't have to study in Welsh if you don't want to. All of our core lectures are in English, but for students who would like to actually complete some of their studies in Welsh, then they're able to do so through seminars, laboratory practicals and tutorials. Your assessments and exams can also optionally be taken in Welsh if you want to, and you will be assigned a bilingual personal tutor. And we can actually support you financially to help you to study through Welsh when you actually study with us at Bangor. Now, being able to study through the medium of Welsh is incredibly important for our local population, but this has many benefits for all of our students who actually come to study with us. And I'd just like to show you this final video so you can understand some of the passion and culture that we actually have in Bangor because of our Welsh heritage.
This is not a sport. It's what we live for. It's not just 80 minutes. It's a lifetime. These are not stadiums. These are our homes. It's not a pitch or a playing field. It's the land of our fathers. Crowds? No. This is our family. They are not just cheers. It's our inspiration. And these days, it's not just a man's game. We're not 15. We are an army of millions. These aren't just players. They are champions in the making. It's not a jersey. It's our skin. Not a laugh, but a bond. We don't learn this. It's in our blood. This is not bravery. It's our duty. We don't win or lose. We strive for greatness. It's not a rule book. It's a moral guide. We're not coached, but mentored. We don't watch it. We feel it. Heartbreak? There'll be no shortage of that. It's not reward we seek. It's honor. This surpasses commitment. It's our oath. Rather than recall history, we rewrite it. It's not just hope. It's unwavering faith. This is our game. This is Welsh Rugby.
So hopefully you'll have got a little bit of a sense of what it's like to actually study with us in this beautiful environment, which is very passionately cultural and diverse. And we'd love you to come and actually visit us in person, and hopefully you'll be able to do that very soon. And we will actually help pay towards your travel to encourage you to actually come to Bangor and see what we can offer you here. But in the meantime, if you do have any questions, then please do ask in the live chat after this talk or in the academic drop-in booth throughout the day. And thank you ever so much for your time and for considering us. And wherever you choose to study, we hope that you have a fantastic experience. But we really would look forward to seeing you here in Bangor.